After you've been involved in a motor vehicle collision, first thing you need to do is seek medical treatment. A lot of injuries that you have may be hidden injuries, and you need to seek the advice of medical doctors. Oftentimes people go to the emergency room for a checkup, but emergency rooms really are just looking for life-threatening injuries at that particular moment. If it's an injury that you have, which you're going to have for the rest of your life, but you're not going to die from it right now, hospitals typically will not admit you into the hospital. They'll treat you, make sure you're stabilized. They won't even admit you to the hospital or discharge you from the emergency room, and they usually send you home with the advice to follow up with an aftercare physician. While you're at the hospital, they might run some general tests on you. Typically, they are running x-rays, make sure there are no broken bones. If your head was hit, they may run a CT scan on your brain to make sure there's no bleeding. It's possible they can run an MRI, but they're looking for severe things that they have to treat right this moment, and if they don't, that you would suffer maybe paralysis, for instance, from a spinal injury. So their radiologists are looking for those highly traumatic things which you could die from in the event that you're not admitted to the hospital and treated immediately. All right. So after you've been discharged from the hospital, you need to follow up with a medical doctor that specializes specifically in automobile collisions. After you're discharged from the hospital, you need to follow up with a medical doctor that handles accident injuries in particular. Traumatic injuries that are caused from motor vehicle collisions can be overlooked by a lot of primary care physicians. Primary care physicians that treat people for high blood pressure or the flu or a common cold, those kinds of things, your family care doctor, which of course are very important, but those physicians typically are not trained nor experienced in identifying the specific cause of various pain that you may have sustained or suffer from as a result of the injuries that are caused in a motor vehicle collision. So first you need to find and treat with a medical doctor who handles automobile-related injuries or vehicular-related traumatic injuries. Next, during the course of your treatment with those doctors, they're going to have you go and have MRIs done. Now, MRIs show a lot of the anatomy inside of your body. Your spine, your neck, your mid-back, your low back, those would be 3 separate MRIs. A shoulder MRI, you could have jaw MRIs, knee MRIs, wrist MRIs, even brain MRIs. So each of these MRIs show different parts of the anatomy of your body, and through that diagram, that internal picture of the anatomy, although not perfect, it certainly gives the treating physician an idea of what's going on inside of you as to what is causing you pain and what anatomically is not correct that was caused from the traumatic event of a motor vehicle collision. After that, the primary treating doctor has basically, they can't do any more for you other than palliative care, which only means to make you feel a little bit better, which typically is giving you some pain medication, massage therapy, physical therapy, maybe some electrical stimulation to reduce the muscle spasms, hot pack, cold pack. Those are just to make you feel a little bit better. They're not going to cure or fix any anatomically defective piece of your body. So if you have tears in your discs in your neck, or protrusions in your neck, or tears in your shoulders, your knees, or if your head has some axonal shearing, the white matter has been sheared on your brain as a result of the impact, those things are not going to be cured or assisted or affected through the types of treatment that your primary auto-related doctor is treating you for. So then you're gonna have to go and see orthopedic and neurosurgeons to determine whether or not your injuries are such that it would necessitate any type of a surgery. Okay, whether you have the surgery or not at that particular time, these surgeons are going to look at you to determine whether or not you're a candidate for having surgery in the future as a result of your injuries. Now, in the event that you are a candidate for having surgery, obviously you want to have that documented so that you can properly be compensated by the insurance company for your injury. Because even though you may not have the surgery today or tomorrow or next year, the probability of you needing that surgery during the course of your lifetime is pretty high, because people don't get better with age, they get worse with age. And as we get older, we through normal wear and tear, we start to break down. And after we've been injured in a particular area of our body, that injured area typically wears down even faster than any other area of your body. So we want to document those injuries. Now, a lot of surgeons are spine surgeons, or they are joint surgeons. You might have an orthopedic surgeon that just does shoulders, knees, and maybe wrists. You have another surgeon, either an orthopedic surgeon or a neurosurgeon that does the spine. Then for most head injuries, if they are mild traumatic brain injuries or severe concussions, those things are best documented typically by a psychiatrist, and sometimes working in concert with a psychologist to document the types of symptoms that occur as a result of someone who has sustained a head injury. You know, kind of like the head injuries that you see in sports, you know, like in the NFL and those types of head-to-head collisions, even with helmets on. It's been well documented that many of those NFL players have sustained traumatic brain injuries. And so when people talk about brain injury, sometimes people think of, you know, someone in a nursing home that's a vegetable. We're not talking about that level, although that's possible that someone's injured at that point. But we're talking more commonly about head injuries where a person still is able to walk, talk, and function. And if you didn't know that person extremely well, or watch them very carefully and frequently, you might not even realize they have a head injury. However, nonetheless, they do suffer from severe problems as a result of head impact that they had during the course of a motor vehicle collision. So all of those things need to be documented during the course of your treatment until the resolution of your case. If there's a gap in treatment, meaning that you don't go to the doctor for 2, 3, 4 months at a time, that can very often negatively affect the way in which an insurance company perceives the value of your case, because they're going to argue to a jury later, if you ever went to trial, that if you were hurt, you'd go to the doctor. And you didn't go to the doctor for 2 or 3 months. And you had large gaps of treatment. And they're going to make that kind of argument, even though some of the treatment after a few months go by, I mean, a lot of that treatment is not going to make you any better. So, and I realize that people have jobs and people have families and people have things to do, and there's a certain point where they're not getting the benefit from treatment because they just have to live with the pain, or they have to go forward with surgery, and they may not even have the funds to move forward with the surgery or have the time off for that kind of additional traumatic event of their life. So they stop going to the doctor. But nevertheless, it's not good for your case, because the insurance company will argue that to the jury that you're not really severely hurt, because if you were, you would have been going to the doctor a lot more frequently. Additionally, you have to follow up with the MRIs to have objective diagnostic studies, and you really need to go and see specialists, the surgeons related to the particular areas of your body that have been injured. We talked about the jaw. If you have a jaw injury, you need to see a maxillofacial surgeon to inspect your jaw to see whether or not you have a TMJ injury that may only be able to be remedied or have the pain reduced through TMJ surgery. So that's basically what you need to know about, in a general nutshell form, about your treatment during the course of a personal injury case.